Hi, beautiful ones. So, my dear brother Diego has asked me to share a testimonial with you all for my experience with him. Um, and Diego and I have been friends for quite a while now. We actually met in Manly, in Sydney, in the Northern Beaches, when I was living there. Oh gosh, kind of 2012, 2013, something like that. And we met through his incredible art gallery that he had in Manly, and we co-created and we weaved some events in together. And I gave him a cosmic numerology reading whilst I was there as well. And, I always felt a very, very strong connection with him. And I couldn't always put my finger on it. I didn't entirely know why. I now know it's because we both hold and share an 11-2 personality. For those of you that don't know what that is, feel free to dive into my cosmic numerology page to know more about that. But at a soul level, we have a deep connection, and we have a remembrance that goes beyond this lifetime. So as soon as I gave Diego a numerology reading, it actually confirmed what I already knew and what I already felt at a soul level. And based on the numerology, we have a connection to Andromeda as star seeds, and based on my knowledge and understanding of cosmic numerology, excuse me, he's an Andromedan starseed brother. So that's helped me to know and understand why we have a special connection, and also what he represents to me and what he reflects to me, but also why he's such an inspiration in my life. Because the people that hold the 11-2 frequencies in their blueprints are incredibly inspirational. They're really wonderful guides in life, especially, kind of from a spiritual perspective or an awakening perspective, in helping us to kind of navigate and remember kind of who we are and why we're here and what's unfolding. But they also care very deeply about supporting us in remembering our wishes and our dreams and our intentions, and supporting us in weaving those into reality. And Diego also has a really powerful frequency, the 44-8 frequency, which is his heart's desire and soul's urge. And that's a master frequency as well. And it is a frequency associated with pretty much like anchoring heaven on earth. The 4 frequency is all about, the grounded builder and, making things happen in reality. It's a very 3D grounded frequency, which I've always felt from Diego, but it's also connected to the 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. And the 8 is associated with abundance and financial material success, business success. So this is another reason why he's, for me, he's always been a powerful reflection of someone who's very, very gifted and successful in business and with regards to the management and the organization of his finances. And it's also a pretty cosmic frequency because it connects into the 11, which, like I said, is the frequency of wishes and dreams. But it is also a frequency associated with kind of really big visions as well. So I've always really enjoyed his presence in my life in relation to that frequency too. So there's obviously lots shifting in my throat chakra as I'm giving this testimonial. It's obviously a very, very important testimonial to share. As an expression, he's a 1 expression, and the 1 expression is the frequency of the independent leader. It's a very sovereign frequency. The 1 expressions are really, really great at putting themselves first, like kind of like pulling all their energy in and taking care of themselves first, and reminding everyone and speaking the language of the importance of filling our love tanks and taking care of ourselves first, and honoring our own sovereign being and our own sovereign direction and our own sovereign way. And it's and you know, kind of holding that frequency as very strong and true and important. And it's been very interesting, the journey that we've been on, because whilst Diego is fascinated with numbers and any help, support, guidance that I have shared with him and given to him with regards to his numerology blueprint, and also weaving his business into reality, and, you know, remembering his purpose, he's always reminded me that, you know, he's not dependent on it. He doesn't need it as such. He's just open to receiving it. And, you know, he then receives it and discerns it in his own way, which is something else that I absolutely love about Diego, and is a really important and powerful frequency that he holds in his blueprint at a soul level. And he can hold that frequency as a reminder to all of us for the importance of listening to ourselves, ultimately, first and foremost. Yes, we can receive knowledge, wisdom, guidance, advice, navigation, tools, techniques, but you know, ultimately, we are divine sovereign beings, and it is very important that we receive all of this, and then we sift through it and we feel into it, and then we take action based on what feels true for us. So just wanting to share that nugget with you about Diego and his numbers at a soul level. And he's a 6 life path. And, you know, the theme of the 6 life path is all about love and family and soul family, children, the mother, the father, the role of the mother and the father, the home, and creating a really nurturing and nourishing and beautiful space for us to feel safe in. And also, you know, the honoring of the temple and the vessel, and taking care of ourselves, taking care of our bodies. It can be associated with healing as well, or as I like to refer to it in the new paradigm, you know, the healers in the new paradigm are these incredible beings that are able to hold a really beautiful, divinely safe, sacred, nurturing, nourishing space for us to move through shifts and changes and experience transformation for ourselves. And the 6s, those that have the 6 in their blueprint and those that hold the 6 life path, you know, that is the filter and the lens through which they're experiencing life on earth. And again, you know, ever since I've known Diego, family, his connection to his own family, his bloodline family, his soul family, his community, children, the children in the community, the children in his own family, has been very, very important. And this is something that is important to him at a soul level, and is always going to be playing a very important role in his life. But he also has the ability to, you know, kind of perform the role and hold the space of, you know, a mother or a father. And it might be, you know, the frequency of a mother or father that we never had in this lifetime, because not all of us hold that 6 frequency. Those of us that hold the 6 frequency in our blueprints, it is natural for us. It is easy for us to remember that frequency of the mother, the father, the divine mother, the divine father. And it is this frequency of unconditional love and presence, conscious presence, that a mother and a father, the divine mother, the divine father, can hold. And so I just wanted to share an experience with you all that I had with Diego in Ubud in Bali towards the end of last year in November. So we were there. I was there with my beloved Chris, and we were also there with a very dear brother of ours, Nicholas, and we were staying in this beautiful, beautiful house that was being shared with us by a beautiful local custodian, Katut. And we were there just to come together as soul family, but also to celebrate my birthday, which was on the 2nd of November, and Chris's and mine's first 1-year anniversary. A few months earlier, I had experienced a plant medicine journey, and I was still integrating everything that was unfolding and shifting and changing as a result of that plant medicine journey. And also earlier in the year, in the March of that year, 2017, I'd had an abortion, which was a very, very traumatic experience for me, and something that had challenged me and continued to challenge me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and challenged Chris as well. And something happened. I still to this day don't really properly understand exactly what happened, but something happened on and around my birthday whereby I started to experience some pretty severe post-traumatic stress. And I'm still not entirely sure what triggered it. It was around the full moon in Scorpio, and I'm Scorpio as well. So I feel like it was always going to happen. It was divinely orchestrated to happen. And it was very, very interesting that we were all together in Ubud when it was happening. But I actually dropped into a deep state of depression, sadness, and grief. And I couldn't pull myself out of it. Normally I can. Normally I have all these amazing tools, techniques. I just sit and meditate. I go be in nature. I write a gratitude list. There's all sorts of tools that I would normally use to move myself out of a situation like that. And, worst case scenario, I might reach out to a friend or talk to Chris and just be able to move through it. The longest I ever, kind of sit in a place like that might be for, a few moments or a very, very short while. Like tops, it might be an hour or so, or absolute tops, half a day or something. But this was something that was very, very deep. It was very, very shadowy, and it lasted for 48 hours, and I could not shift it. Chris could not get me out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to be alive. I just wanted to go home to Andromeda. That's all I wanted to do. And it was funny because it wasn't even that I wanted to kill myself. I just didn't want to be here anymore. And it was getting pretty intense. Chris didn't really know what to do. He was trying to get me to come out of the bed and out of the bedroom, and I basically just didn't want to move. Felt very, very low, very, very sad. It was a very, very deep, heavy energy and emotion, and I couldn't shift it. And it literally felt like it was all consuming. And it got to the point where Chris spoke to Diego and to Nick and to Katut and said, we actually need to perform an intervention, or there's something that we need to do together to help Kat. And Diego played a really important role in that. And I feel it's the first time in my life that I've allowed men, and especially a man, that close to me, and to allow someone into that sacred space of the bedroom, which is normally my safe place when I'm having a tough time, to allow someone that close to me and to even touch me or put their hand on my body. And so it was a very, very, very powerful experience, very challenging for me. But Diego played a very, very important role, and almost energetically, he pretty much orchestrated the entire constellation and almost the roles that everyone was playing within that. And so talking to his numbers again, you've got the one expression. It was almost like this divinely orchestrated initiation and experience for everyone in the room and everyone who was part of that co-creation to step up into their mastery and to level up further into their mastery. So again, it's so interesting that Diego's asking me to share a testimonial, because it is so easy for me to share that testimonial and so easy for me to thank him so deeply, from the bottom and the infinite expansiveness of my heart. So I was pretty much lying face down on the bed, screaming and crying my eyes out, as, some could refer to it as an exorcism if you're wanting to be really dramatic, but all I know is that there was a very deep, dark, heavy energy that it was in my body that needed to be released. At the same time, my soul was wanting to leave my body as well and just go back home. So it was almost this funny little tussle between me as a human, as a soul having a human experience, allowing the people that were around me to kind of physically ground me and give me love, and for me to receive that love. And this was an amount of love and presence that I had never experienced and never received in my life when I was in a dark time. So it was very, very powerful for me. I actually feel a little bit emotional now, just even tuning into it and remembering it. It was so interesting that there were 3 men present as well, because, you know, I have so much love and care and support from all my sisters around the world. And it was very interesting that I had to be in Ubud, and I had to be in Bali, and I had to be far away from all my soul family, my blood family, all my sisters in the Byron Shire. And, you know, for me to have this experience with the people that were present to help me let go of a lot of darkness and sadness and heaviness, and make space for receiving all of the light that was being given to me and all of the love that was being shared with me. And so, you know, Nick was holding a very energetic space for me in the room. Katut was at my head. She was holding on to my forehead and my third eye. She energetically knew exactly what was happening, but it almost felt like she was just grounding and making sure that, you know, there was energy moving and shifting at the same time. Diego was stood behind me, this beautiful, almost kind of angelic and fatherly presence behind me, with his hand on the back of my heart, just constantly really gently and lovingly telling me that I was loved, that everyone loved me, that it was safe, that I didn't have to do anything by myself anymore, that I could just allow myself to receive, which was so hard because I'd been running this story for however long, that, you know, I always had to do things by myself and no one cared and no one was there to help or support me. And it was so powerful because he had this very, very, very strong, powerful presence where I felt very, very safe. But at the same time, which was the 44-8, but at the same time, I could feel so much love and so much gentle, like motherly and fatherly love coming from him as the 6. It was so powerful, and it was very important because no one else in the room was speaking. No one else was speaking. I was just lying on the bed, crying, snot pouring out of my nose, tears pouring down my face, just a pool of drool in front of me on the bed. And just, you know, there was Katut at my head. Chris was at my feet, holding both my feet, you know, beaming, a full beaming smile. He later told me it was such a joy to watch me die, or a part of me die, which was exactly what was happening. A version of myself, an aspect of myself that just was no longer welcome, was no longer relevant, was no longer needed. So he was grounding and anchoring me at my feet. You know, Nick was just holding this beautiful, energetic presence, but Diego it was almost like he was the conductor, so to speak, and the you know, orchestrating the entire constellation of what was happening. And for me, it was so important just to hear his words, and hear it was coming from such a place of power and strength, but it was so gentle and so loving, and it felt so safe and so beautiful and so nurturing and nourishing to hear those words. And yeah, it was an experience that I have never ever had before, and it was so powerful to experience that and to receive that from Diego in co-creation with everyone else. So, and what was also interesting was he knew exactly, intuitively, what needed to happen afterwards. So, you know, Nick actually came and just, I think energetically was sending me some love once the experience had finished, and everyone knew intuitively when that experience had finished. And then Diego knew that to take Chris to go into Ubud and to pick up some Palo Santo, which I love the smell of, which was really going to kind of ground me and bring me back, and to bring a giant bouquet or box of flowers. And it was so interesting because Chris had no idea. He was just like, oh, okay. And Diego was like, yes, we need to do this. This needs to happen. This is what needs to be there. And to bring me a coconut as well. It was like he knew exactly what I needed. He was just totally tuning in, intuitively, extrasensorily. And it was so interesting when I came around because I literally felt like I'd given birth, or I felt like I'd come out of this really, really powerful experience, or surgery, or psychic surgery, or energetic surgery, or whatever it was so powerful. And, when the Palo Santo was being lit and I could smell it, like it just reminded me of all these beautiful ceremonies that I've been part of in Sydney. And it really grounded me and it anchored me here on earth, and it had me feel really, really safe and really happy. And then, opening my eyes and seeing the beautiful flowers that were there just, brought me so much joy. They were so beautiful. They were so colorful, orchids and just beautiful, beautiful divine flowers. And then, as and when I felt like I wanted to put something in my body, to have the coconut there just to be able to sip on, and just allow those electrolytes into my body, allow the coconut to nurture me and nourish me on the inside, after having received so much nurturing and nourishment and love on the outside. So that was my experience. Like I said, Diego is a very, very, very precious, dear soul brother of mine. He is an incredible being. He's an artist, and he's a coach and a mentor and a guide. And, there are so many gifts and skills and abilities that he has. And those of you that have experienced any of those already, you will know, his art is exquisite. It is out of this world. It is magnificent. But, in terms of the most powerful gift, that he has shared with me to date, which I'd go as far as to say is an amalgamation of, all the numbers in his blueprint. And this includes, the soul's purpose. This is 7 souls' purpose. And, the purpose of the soul is weaving and bringing in and helping people to remember ancient knowledge and wisdom and, ancient ways. And this is definitely, a huge part of, why Diego is here and why he's on this planet. And, we love sitting and talking about numerology, and lots of other, sacred information as well. But yeah, it is an honor and a privilege to call Diego my friend and my soul brother and my Andromedan starseed brother. And it's my joy to share this testimonial with you. And if any of you are thinking about or considering journeying with Diego, based on all of his magical offerings on his website, I can highly recommend it. You will feel safe, you will feel held, you will feel heard, you will be inspired, and you will feel grounded as you journey with him. And, there is the potential for so much magic to happen as you journey with Diego, with whatever offering that you choose to select, whatever journey you choose to go on with Diego. So yeah, I can highly, highly, highly recommend journeying with him. So yeah, I'm in Maui, Hawaii at the moment. So sending you all lots and lots of love from Maui, Hawaii. And yes, highly recommend journeying with dear brother Diego. Lots and lots of love. Big aloha, love and hugs from Maui, Hawaii. Blessings. Bye.